Now, over the past few years, BPS Knives has built a reputation on giving us high-value, high-performing bushcraft fixed blades. And what a lot of companies do is they find what they're good at and then they stick with it. Well, apparently, BPS Knives doesn't want to play by the rules because they've recently introduced a pocket knife, their Calibri. So immediately when I saw that this was released, I had to go out and buy one for myself. And for the last month or so, I've carried it off and on in my EDC rotation to really get a good feel for what it can and can't do. And for the $60 MSRP that I paid for it, I was gonna get around to, sharing my thoughts and doing a full breakdown eventually. Until this past weekend, I was surfing around on Amazon and saw that these were about $29. I don't know if that's a sales price or if that's the street price that they're regularly going for. But just because BPS Knives has checked the value box doesn't mean that they've necessarily checked the high performance box. And so I'm gonna run down all the different details, aspects on what I think about this blade with you so that you can have a better determination if BPS Knives is making a folder that deserves a ride in your pocket or not. So buckle up, it's gonna be a wild ride. If you're new to the channel, this is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in and talk some blades. That's a good cup of joe. And as we dive in, the first pro, and we're gonna be doing some pros and cons on this thing, is the blade. What a clever girl. I mean, it's like a Velociraptor claw, guys. Because what they chose to do was give us a 3.2 or 80 millimeter long blade, so over 3 inches. I'm always pumped about that. It's a 3 millimeter or thick stock, so an 1/8 of an inch thick stock. And they chose Sandvik 14C28N, but an excellent 59 to 60 HRC. You'll see this steel being used by a lot of overseas manufacturers. And I don't know if they're making this in-house, if someone's making it for them. They're based in Ukraine, they're a Ukrainian company. It says design in Ukraine, but maybe an overseas manufacturer, in Asia is making it for them. A lot of companies do like either 58 to 60 or even like 57 to 59 that you're gonna find in this price range. So that's a very good, tight hardness. That means wear resistance. And what I can say is I am not having to resharpen it as frequently as some of my other overseas Sandvik 14C28N. So along with that, it has a really nice tapering to a very precise tip. You're not gonna be treating this like a crowbar, but because of the almost continuous trailing point sweep, not only does it look sick, but you have a rocking power in your cuts, regardless if you're doing like food prep, regardless if you're going through like hemp rope, manila rope, cordage, cardboard, that it is continuously sliding through. There's not a straight edge anywhere really on this blade. So it's sweeping continuously, meaning that if you are doing a sweeping cut, you're gonna get maximum sliceology and sliceability, and it accelerates the cut through whatever material you're going through. Now, I would say it's mainly, I think it's better suited for EDC. BPS definitely focusing on like a lot of outdoor scandy grind, and different stuff like that. You can definitely, make a feather stick. You could do that if you had to. I like a kind of lower saber grind a little bit on my pocket knives if I'm going to carve and whittle with it. So it wouldn't be my first choice to carve and whittle with, but for food prep, general utility, EDC, whatever you want to call it, it is definitely doing what I would look for, and it looks good doing it as well. Now, the first con has to do with the pocket clip. And guys, at any point in time, if you have gotten your questions answered and you want to peel off, I do have a link popping up here over to my Amazon affiliate store, and it's in the description box below as well. You can click that link. It'll take you right over to these blades, both the green and black blade and the black and uncoated blade, that those are currently available. And again, I have no idea. I mean, tomorrow we could turn around and that price goes back up to 60. I'll talk a little bit more about value a little later in the video. But at this point, 30 bucks for a folder like this. You know, definitely, I think some people are going to be really interested in it. And for those of you who aren't in the United States that can order through Amazon, you can check out their site, which it's still $60 MSRP on their site. I'll have a link to that. I do have an exclusive 10% off promo code, so that'll help you save a little bit if you're ordering over in Europe or other places where Amazon doesn't apply to you. And on their site, along with the standard colors, they have a new black blade orange handle version for those of you who like high vis. Now, the pocket clip itself is designed well. It's loop over, recessed screw. It's got a cutout on the G10 handle, so it does not play or slide. It's got a little bit of flex, but it's definitely got some density to it. The Essie, what is it? Medellin 2 that we did is not as dense as this pocket clip. So all of those things are great. I don't know why they didn't make it ambidextrous. This bolt right here, it does not have a cutout, and I do not believe you could swap it, and if you did, it'd be like sliding around and stuff. So this could have easily been a fully ambidextrous folder. They opted to just have it for righties with the pocket clip, so the 10% of you that are lefties are kind of left out in the cold. Now, when it comes to the deployment, there's a pro and a con. The pro is that it's really cool, and you have two ways to open the blade. It has a hidden flipper, so you can see there. That's how much it protrudes. There's jimping. It just barely comes out. So if you hold your finger right there and pull directly back, you will easily launch it out. I mean, it just like, whoosh. I mean, it feels like literally like a raptor claw going whoosh, coming out, or a stinger just flipping out. And if you want to do a roll over, there is jimping right there, and it protrudes just a hair above the G10 handle, and you can do a top roll as well. And you can see how fast that went. So again, that's why an ambidextrous pocket clip would have made sense. There's nothing that would keep it from being non-ambidextrous in that way. Here's the trick. It's a learning curve, and there are definitely times where I'm trying to do the pullback and I just didn't quite engage it. You know, I didn't quite get the little lip there that I needed to, and I got it right here, and then I slide off. So then it takes see right there. I really got to kind of push. So you got to kind of push and pull, if I can get my finger out of the way, at the same time. Now, if you do the top, it's a little easier that way. So some people are going to think it's super cool. It makes the whole design really flush, and there's no like protruding elements to it, and a very organic sweep. It's very organic, looks like a snake slithering through, you know, whatever material you're cutting. But some people will get kind of annoyed and just be like, I wish I had thumb studs, or I wish I had like a dedicated flipper. So that's the con, is that sometimes you just don't deploy it on the first strike. And there's a little bit of a learning curve to get it working. But if you like that, or you kind of like the low profile idea, or just something different and unique, it definitely, when engaged, can easily flick that sucker open. Now, they did a really good job by recessing that tip really well. Again, for like, I believe their first pocket knife. Very impressed with the overall fit and finish. The execution, you know, the action is really good. And even though it's a very generic liner lock, like there's nothing to really write home about with that, this thing is rock solid in there. Up, down, left, right, I have zero wobble, zero play. And I really dig that a lot. And they gave you a little finger cutout right there. And because there's no like guard or, you know, anything like that, and because of the way the scale is produced, it's very ergonomic right there. So you don't have this weird drop off or this hot spot with the liner lock. Some companies that get into pocket knives for the first time, they don't execute the lock very well. For a liner lock, it absolutely does what it's supposed to. You can easily disengage with one hand. Now, I have a final pro and con when it comes to the handle. We're looking at G10. You can get black G10, green G10, or, as I stated, orange G10 over on their site currently. Maybe that will eventually make it over to Amazon. I don't know. Now, it's flow-through construction. We got some good standoffs. This thing, even though it has liners in there, so, I mean, it has stainless steel liners, this thing comes in under 3 ounces. It's like 2.6 ounces for a 3+ inch blade length. Like, that's pretty good. Now, and all the shoulders are really nice and rounded. It's very organic. And again, not going to be weird and all these cutouts or oddness. The G10 handles are contoured. All that is great. I mean, I really have nothing to complain about with that. You will need to put a lanyard if that's, you know, like the 5% of you who like doing that. They do have a separate lanyard post away from the blade. It has to do with the way the handle is kind of designed. Now, I had to double check my millimeters. It's 105 millimeters or 4.1 inches total on the handle. I wear large size gloves, 3 1/4 knuckle span right there. when I grip it, to naturally grip it the way I want to with the kind of sweep, and it doesn't have a bird beak, but my finger ends up resting kind of on this hump right here, so it feels a little bit more like a puko. Now, it's not a hot spot, and the very light jimping there like locks me in, but I really, if the handle was about a ½ an inch longer, I would have been able to rest my finger right there, and it would have given me a little bit more of just control, I guess, and just feel more natural to have my index right here. But when I do that, now my pinky is wanting to fall off the back end. So I'm now forced to kind of rest my hand right there to rest my pinky, and then I'm kind of half on that rounded hump and a little bit closer to the blade, which means maximum control. Feels a little bit more like a puko. Doesn't have quite the traction and guard that if the handle was just overall longer would have given me, and I probably would have felt a little more confident holding it like that. Now, as it stands, it feels very ergonomic when you're pinch pulling, doing draw cuts, whatever you're doing. All that is great, but it's just a little bit of symmetry there that if they made like a, say, 3.75 inch version and just lengthened the handle a little bit and kept all the dimensions identical, outside of that, it would probably sit in my hand a little bit better than where it sits right now. So ergonomically, it's very comfortable, but just know that if you have large size hands or bigger, you're going to kind of be sitting right on the two peaks of this handle cutout. Kind of like right here and right here is where your hand is going to naturally rest, giving you maximum control, but not a lot of hand protection. So when it comes to materials, fit and finish, and execution, I think overall, BPS has really hit a lot of boxes well. And I know I think they've done like one other pocket knife since then, but if they continue down this line using these similar materials, even at $60, like the materials to value is there. But I mean, if you can score this for half of that, $30, it's hard to find all of these features if you like what you see in that package at that price. So there's definitely a lot going there, and I hope that BPS Knives continues down this path with other folders, and I'd love to see them even do like maybe some lockbacks. I want to see more companies doing lockbacks. You know, it's kind of like become archaic, and only like Spyderco and Cold Steel really do it anymore. Maybe some Bucks, but it would be cool to see some other companies, and I feel like that type of locking mechanism would fit really well with a BPS brand. But that's me and my mileage. Let me know what you guys think about this folder, especially if you own one. How has it been performing for you? Do you like this kind of unique styling and, you know, deployment and aspects where you're kind of like, it was interesting, but it just kind of sits in the pile now? Love to know your guys' thoughts. Appreciate your time. Check out the other videos, subscribe, and until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.